Hi everybody, I'm Jared Pike, and this is Shell Point Today for the weekend of April 5th, 6th, and 7th. On today's show, we practice the foxtrot, the waltz, and the rumba, all without needing a dance partner. Find out how coming up. But first, we want to remind you about the weekend's events. If you like walking, there's no better place to walk than on the beaches of Southwest Florida. Shell Point's Walking Club is taking advantage and planning a trip this Saturday to Bowman's Beach on Sanibel. If you like a good morning walk, well then join the carpool this Saturday morning at 8 a.m. at the island's administration courtyard. For more information, call Bob Chamberlain at 454-3917 or Gaz Goslin at 454-1594. And Saturday night, we have an event for all you stargazers. The Astronomy Star Party will showcase multiple telescopes aimed at multiple stars and planets. It's happening at the Shell Point Golf Club, which has almost no ambient light. But don't worry, we'll have flashlights to guide you. Sign up for the Astronomy Star Party, happening this Saturday night out at the Shell Point Golf Club. Now, if you need transportation, buses will be picking up island residents at 7:10 p.m., Woodlands at 7:20 p.m., and Eagles Preserve at 7:30 p.m. Sign up at either service desk. And Sunday, we're giving you a chance to try out your foxtrot, waltz, rumba, and many other ballroom moves, whether you have a dance partner or not. It's called ballroom line dancing, and it's the newest way to enjoy the fun and rhythm of dancing, by yourself or with a partner. You can learn ballroom line dancing every Sunday afternoon at 3:15 p.m. in the Island Health Club. Our instructor is Carol Ashley.
This is a class for beginners. It's a very good class for single people because we do all ballroom dances, but you don't need a partner. We do them in a line. It's sweeping the world. The YouTube is full of every dance you want to do, every genre in ballroom dancing, and it's very popular. For instance, when I'm doing the foxtrot, as we just did, I'm going forward. If I do it with my husband, I have to go backwards. The old saying is, ballroom dancing for a woman, she does everything the man does, but she does it backwards in high heels. Well, we don't need high heels here, as you can see. It is very popular because there are so many singles who love the rhythm and music of ballroom dances and do not have a partner.
Well, it's good exercise, and, we enjoy it.
Dance those pounds off from all the great food that we've got around here, and there's so much going on, and this is just something Sunday afternoon. It's perfect. I love it.
We share our floor. You may have seen, we share our floor. If couples want to come and they know the ballroom dances, they too can share our music and dance floor.
I feel more comfortable, even though I don't know a lot of times about what I'm doing, but I just feel at ease doing that kind of a couple dance. I feel more ease.
Carol gives us such great rhythms that it's a whole new experience, and we enjoy it.
You get good rhythm and good music, and we enjoy it very much.
The foxtrot that we was doing earlier, I like that. That's got good movement to it. The music that we have, it keeps you moving.
Samba. I like hula. I love that. I love all sorts of stuff.
We meet every Sunday at 3:15. This is where we dance. In the health club, right.
She's such a good teacher. Carol's a terrific teacher, and we just pick things up like that. What we're doing here is just for everybody. It's easy, it's fun, and anybody can do it.
One other event to put on your calendar is this Monday. Do you love the old Disney musicals? Mary Poppins, Snow White, When You Wish Upon a Star? Well, you'll love the Shell Point Singers Spring Concert, happening this Monday night. The singers have been practicing the greatest musical numbers from Disney's classic animated films. So join them for a magical musical night with flying elephants, dancing chimney sweeps, and the voices of your Shell Point friends and neighbors. The Shell Point Singers Disney Concert takes place Monday at 7:15 p.m. in the church auditorium, and all are welcome. Now, as far as this weekend's happenings, let's learn more about that from Resort Services. And then, after your menus and church news, stay tuned for our Shell Point TV Week in Review.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Happening segment of Shell Point TV. I'm Bev Chandley. This is Suzanne Zavada, and we're going to go over activities offered by Shell Point for you residents today. 8:15, we have the Stamp Ministry volunteers gathering in the stamp room down in the tunnel for their work. 9 o'clock's the times for men's match play tennis. They'll be down at the Woodlands. Also 9 o'clock, different kind of a racket. We go down to the pickleball courts and you can play pickleball at 9 o'clock. At 10 o'clock, you'll find canasta being played at the game room of the Woodlands. And then 10:15, our last morning activity, it's Inquiring Minds. They'll be in the Osprey Room on the island. Here's Suzanne for the afternoon lineup.
At 12:30, we have Mixed Progressive Bridge taking place in the game room at the Woodlands. And at 1 o'clock, we have the Diabetes Group Appointment meeting in the Social Center on the island. At 1:15, we have table tennis in the Tarpon Room on the island, as well as the Quilters meeting in the Osprey Room on the island. Then at 1:30 is the time to play golf croquet out at the bocce court at the Woodlands. And from 1:30 to 3:30, you can take a trip down to the Model Train Room in the tunnel on the island. Also at 1:30, we have the Vespers meeting in the Community Room of the Arbor. At 2 o'clock is when euchre will be played in the Sable Room at the Woodlands. And at 2:45, Great Decisions will be meeting to discuss China in Africa in the Manatee Room on the island. 2:45, Vespers will be meeting again in the Community Room of King's Crown. And at 6:45, game night will take place in the Osprey Room on the island. Now, Bev, what do we have going on Saturday?
Saturday morning, we're going to start out at 8 o'clock with the Round Robin Men's Doubles Tennis being played. Also at 8 o'clock, we have the Shell Point Walking Club. They're going to Bowman's Beach. They'll gather at the Administration Courtyard. At 9:45, Duplicate Bridge will be played down in the Manatee Room. 10 o'clock, it's time for golf croquet. They'll be at the bocce court down at the Woodlands. At 10:15, you'll find the Shell Point Model Yacht Club sailing at the Garden Apartment Pond on the island. And then at 1 o'clock, chess will be played in the Library Lounge at the Resident Activity Center. And 1:15 is the time for table tennis. This will be available all weekend unless otherwise noted. That's in the Tarpon Room in the tunnel. And then 2:45, we have the introduction to line dancing in the Health Club, followed at 3:15 by basic line dancing in the Health Club. 6:15, we have a Symphony Classic Series transportation going out to the Barbara B. Mann Theater. The Island Court pickups begin at 6:15, the Woodlands at 6:25, and the Eagles Preserve Courts are picked up at 6:35. At 6:30, Duplicate Bridge will be played in the Manatee Room. Then we have a outing, sort of an on-campus outing. At 7:10, we have the Astronomy Group Star Party. Residents who've signed up for this will be picked up at their courts. The court pickups begin at 7:10 on the island, 7:20 at the Woodlands, and 7:30 for Eagles Preserve. Sign-up is required. Here comes Sunday's activities with Suzanne.
At 9 o'clock, the Christian Life Studies group will meet at the game room at the Woodlands. And at 9:15, the Christian Life Studies group will be at the Village Church on the island. At 10:15, morning worship will take place with Andy Hawkins in the Village Church, and it'll also be broadcast live on Shell Point TV Channel 12. At 2 o'clock, the Mixed Golf League will be out at the Shell Point Golf Club. And at 3:15, the ballroom line dancing for beginners will take place in the Health Club on the island. And to wrap up the weekend, we have 6:15 evening service with Andy Hawkins in the Village Church on the island. Well, we hope that you all have enjoyed your weekend, and we'll see you back here on Monday.
Menus for your weekend. In the Crystal Room, the Crystal Platter on Friday is coconut shrimp with a baked sweet potato and Caribbean vegetables. The dinner special is the seafood buffet for $14.95, and their featured soup is New England clam chowder. In the Island Cafe for lunch on Friday, enjoy a grilled meatloaf sandwich on rye with a side salad for $6.95. The dinner special is Chef's Choice for $7.95. Dinner specials on the Palm Grill on Friday are calf liver for $14.95 or baked snapper for $15.95. On Saturday, the Crystal Room is closed. In the Island Cafe for lunch on Saturday, enjoy a barbecue pork sandwich with coleslaw for $6.95. The dinner special is a stuffed cabbage roll with jasmine rice and green peas for $7.95. Dinner specials in the Palm Grill on Saturday are prime rib for $18.95 or crab cakes for $16.95. On Sunday, the Crystal Room features its Sunday brunch for $17.50. In the Island Cafe for lunch on Sunday, enjoy a mushroom Swiss burger with fries for $6.95. The dinner special is Chef's Choice for $7.95. And the Palm Grill is closed on Sundays. All menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
Greetings and welcome to Village Church Connections. I'm here with Pastor Andy Hawkins, and he will be sharing with us just a little bit about what we can expect for this coming Sunday. Andy, we have just really enjoyed Palm Sunday, all the events of Holy Week, Easter Sunday, and we took a little break from the book of Ephesians during that time as you shared messages. But now this Sunday, we are back in the book of Ephesians.
Yes, we are. But we're never too far removed from the resurrection of Christ, as a matter of fact, and so we're sort of flying with the momentum that we have experienced and enjoyed throughout the Holy Week services. The last section of the first chapter of Ephesians talks a lot about the nature of the power that comes from the resurrection that is applied to the church, actually, and it speaks a lot about the supremacy of the Lord Jesus Christ, and there's some interesting teachings in that passage, and it's the end of a prayer, actually. And we find that in that particular prayer, we are led into the presence of God in a really significant kind of way that is perhaps unusual. And there's some surprises in that section as well. And the purpose for which Christ is supreme is laid out in that section, and it's a really exciting passage to teach on. So we'll continue that series and enjoy the presence of the Lord as we do it.
So we will be kind of drawing to a close, chapter 1.
That's right.
And spending some time there talking about the power of the resurrection. And in keeping with that theme, Ella Wolf will be singing, I Know That My Redeemer Liveth.
That's right.
That's a favorite for many of us.
Absolutely, and a wonderful singer to do it.
It is. And then Sunday night, I know that you will be beginning a new sermon series for us. And it's based in the book of Revelation.
That's right.
A specific portion of the book of Revelation. Tell us about that.
Really just 2 verses in the last chapter of the book of Revelation, which is the last chapter of the Bible. And it really is an encouraging passage. It's the kind of thing that we usually value what people say, which is the last thing that they want to communicate to someone. And so, for instance, at the end of the Gospel of Matthew, we have the Great Commission, the last thing that Jesus wants the church to do. And so we take that very seriously, not only here at the Village Church, but in other churches, that we're going to communicate the gospel to all nations. But in this particular case, this is Christ's last communication, not about what he wants the church to do, but about who he is and what difference it makes in the lives of believers. And so this is the last thing that he wants us to know about himself. And the series was inspired by a book that I read a number of years ago by William Greenhill, was a 17th century Puritan who wrote a book entitled Christ's Last Disclosure of Himself, based upon those verses. And he actually had probably about a dozen sermons that he got out of those 2 verses. And we won't do a dozen sermons, but it's a rich passage in which we learn so much about how encouraging Christ is, especially to all of those who would long to seek him, who are thirsty for spiritual life. They'll find it in the person and work of Jesus Christ.
The book of Revelation takes on rich meaning as we begin to look at it as the revealing of Jesus Christ.
Absolutely.
And so we look forward to that. Wonderful opportunities for worship.
Absolutely. We're looking forward to it.
So we invite you to join us Sunday morning at 10:15, Sunday night at 6:15. We'd love to have you there. And thank you for joining us today for Village Church Connections.
It's time to replay some of the week's best stories from Shell Point TV. And to help us do that is the lovely and talented Rochelle Chernowski. Rochelle.
Thank you very much, Jared. We began this week with a story of family ties. A father and son, Jim and Erwin Rudolph, who both have PhDs and both live right here at Shell Point.
I came from central Illinois, LeBron County, and country school, went to a country school. And we were mostly on the farm and learned how to milk cows and slop hogs and things like that. We had a phonograph, and they wondered how I could read the labels on that phonograph. And I got up on a chair and I said, well, this is the girl of my dreams, and this is if a wish could make it so. I wanted to learn more. I had a zest for learning, and up at that country schoolhouse we practiced several things that got me in line for it. Spelling lessons, and I can still spell pretty well today because of that. Out of the 48 states in their capital, there were 50 of them now, but 48, I learned Gettysburg Address. And
7 years ago, our old dads came on the scene with a new jive. Hep to the jive that all cats had made it the same. Now we're real hung up in a crazy big hassle testing whether these cats or any cat so grooved can long make it on the scene. That's enough of that.
That I got very much interested in poetry, and they marveled sometimes at my ambition because I wanted to be I wanted to be some kind of a teacher or that sort of thing. And Greenville College, that was the first one. When I went there, I was a sophomore, and the girl that I met there was a junior, and that's where I met June. She was from Pennsylvania. She saw me scrubbing floors, and I had been working my way along that way. And after the first date, that was more or less it. We went together all the time. And in August 1938, we were married, and it was only 2 years after that Jim came along, and that was during the war, and I was given a 4D classification.
Dad was a minister at the time, and I was born in Bradford, Pennsylvania, which was the home of my mother. So they went back there to have me. And then we moved to Montpelier, Ohio, Toledo, Ohio, Columbus, Ohio.
He was a little guy, and he had a little friend called JJ, lived across the street. And we said, now Jim, you got to go across that street. We got to help you go get across, okay? And so one day we looked out the window, and the little guy was creeping across over there. And we didn't say anything then. That evening he said, Jim, did you go see JJ today? No. And we went, Jim, did you go to see JJ today? He said, did you see me? And we said, yes, we did. Well, then I did.
Finally settled in Wheaton, Illinois in 1954, where I entered high school, and Dad started teaching at Wheaton College. One class I had him as a professor. With a major in English, there was no way of getting around 18th century literature, and he's the only one that taught it, so I had to take it. I'd write a paper, and he'd ask me if it was done, and I said, I think it's about ready. He'd ask me if he could read it. He'd look at it, and he'd turn the pages like this. I said, what do you think? He said, well, it's pretty good. I said, what do you mean pretty good? He said, well, on page 3 on the 5th line you have a typo. He said, on the 6th page, he said, I don't think that word choice in the 5th line. So he has a unique ability of being able to look at a total page, but yet identify all of the component parts, all the while just fingering it through like that. So that was remarkable to me.
Jim was always liked cars very well. And June and I were looking out the window one day, and we saw him out there working with, what was that car, was that?
It was 54 Ford.
And he was having trouble getting the ignition on, and we saw him pretty soon. He couldn't get it. Pretty soon we saw him give it a kick, give the car a kick. And we laughed. But the ironic thing about it, the next time he turned it, it went on. And so ever since then, if we got into a problem, we say, Jim, give it a kick.
At Wheaton College undergrad, I had a double major in business and in English. My advisor asked me to interview 3 different school districts for a teaching position. Well, I wasn't going to go into education. My mother was a teacher, he was a prof, so forth. So I interviewed 3 different school districts and got 3 job offers. So I thought, well, I wasn't married, I didn't have anything particularly hot going at the time, so that I could upgrade my car and save a little money. So I accepted one of the teaching positions, and within the first semester was enjoying it so much that I began a master's degree program, evenings and summers. I was 26 years old, and Dad was worried about me that I was 26 and wasn't married yet. But I had formed a pact with a close high school friend of mine. We were both 26, and we had signed a pact, SOS, Social Operation Snowball. Said that if either one of us didn't have a date, at least one date every other weekend, we had to pay for the other person's date for the following weekend. So it was Sunday afternoon of the second week, and I didn't have a date that weekend. So her name had been suggested, so I, out of the clear blue, called on a blind date, and things progressed from there.
I went to Wheaton, graduated from Wheaton, and was an English teacher for 38 years, as my habit was writing a letter home to my folks who were missionaries in Korea. And I took the phone call and came back to finish the letter, and Mother says that I went on for several sentences about how I didn't really like blind dates. I didn't think they were, you know, the way to go, but several of my housemates claimed to know this guy, so I guessed it was all right.
Her housemates actually went out and interviewed girls that I had dated before to see what kind of line this guy was going to use. First date in February, we're engaged in June and married in August of that same year, so that was pretty good for a slow worker.
When Jim was talking about going to law school elsewhere, he said, well, Jim, why don't you stay here and go? And Jim followed through on that and sailed through there for his doctorate at Northwestern.
We have two kids, a son and a daughter, and among those two, 11 grandchildren. Our son has 8. Our daughter is now raising her family. She's a former teacher as well, has a master's degree in English. And our son has a PhD from Minnesota, who's a political science professor at the University of Illinois.
When Tom was there at the university and they interviewed him at the paper at the Wheaton, they said, you aspired for a doctorate very early, did you, in life? And he said, yeah. He said, I guess I came from a family of educators, and my grandfather still works and uses the life of the mind. Even here when I came to Shell Point, what am I going to do here? Some of the academy things that I taught, I like the history of the language and to teach courses in C.S. Lewis and Milton. I feel that I was doing something positive. The first time we came out to Shell Point, Summerlin hadn't been put in yet, and McGregor, and just a Bonner Street down through here. And I said, this is the end of the world. I don't know who wants to come out of a place like this. They kind of talked us into thinking about it. And we were the first ones, after 7 years here, go to Lakewood. And Jim was the big mover, was to come in, wrestle all that furniture, but...
We actually ended up liking it, and we bought a unit in Periwinkle, and we got involved with lots of activities. We're very much involved in activities here at Shell Point. We said the time is right.
There's not much negative you can say about Shell Point, especially when you're from the Midwest in the wintertime. It's great.
He and Dottie have both been very kind to me, and if I want to go someplace, they take me. And
it's nice to have so many things to choose from, and you can do as much or as little as you want to do.
He was always quoting poetry, and even when he came down to Shell Point, and he has a reputation with when he chaired the Residence Council, that they always begin a meeting with his reciting some poem.
That time of year, thou mayest me behold when yellow leaves or none or few do hang upon these boughs that shake against the cold. Bare ruined choirs where late the sweet birds sang. In me thou seest the twilight of such day as after sunset fadeth in the west, which by and by black night doth take away, death's second self that seals up all in rest. In me thou seest the glowing of such fire as on the ashes of his youth do lie, as the deathbed upon which it must expire, consumed by that it was nourished by. This thou perceivest that makes thy love more strong, to love that well which thou must leave ere long.
This Monday, Dr. Jason Nemitz is coming to Shell Point to talk about foot and heel pain. Let's learn more.
I'm Mary Franklin with an upcoming Health Connections program, Achilles tendonitis and plantar fasciitis, and Dr. Jason Nemitz is going to clear all the questions you may have about heel pain up in this talk on Monday, April 8th at 2:15 in the Social Center. Dr. Nemitz, thanks for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, okay, let's start off. We need to know a little bit more about you. It's the first time you've been on Shell Point TV. Tell us about you and then also about orthopedic specialists.
Well, I moved down here to Florida about a year and a half ago. I was actually training in Michigan, so I traded the cold for the warm.
Okay.
And so I was doing my residency at Henry Ford Hospital in Detroit. I then went on to do my fellowship and stayed up in the northern part of Michigan and did a fellowship in foot and ankle.
Okay.
So I subspecialized. I did my medical school before that at Ohio State, so I'm actually a Buckeye. I was displaced into Michigan for 6 years, so it was a little bit difficult at times. But I grew up in southern Ohio before that. So, and then I came down here and joined with orthopedic specialists of Southwest Florida. And like I mentioned, I'm fellowship trained, and that's the big thing about our group, is that everyone in our group has a fellowship training in some subspecialty of orthopedics, whether it's foot and ankle, spine, shoulder and upper extremity, joint replacement, sports medicine. We have every subspecialty in our group, and that's something we pride ourselves upon is having that everybody has their own niche in our group.
Okay. Well, your niche is the heel, really, and you're going to focus on Achilles tendonitis and plantar fasciitis, but you're saying really anything with that bottom of the foot, side of the foot pain. How does someone know they should come and talk to you? I mean, how long is a pain too long? I mean, we all get aches and pains, but when do we know we need treatment?
Well, the average time, if it's just a few days of pain and it's intermittent, it comes and goes, usually some anti-inflammatory, some ice, and it'll clear right up. But if it's persistent, it lasts, a few weeks, or it's enough that you've begun to alter what you would normally do. If you would normally say, I'd go to the store today, but my heel hurts and I really am not going to do that. That's the time that you should go see somebody.
Okay. And treatment, is there lots of different options? You don't have to go straight to surgery. Or there, you can fix by proper shoes or stretches. Is there a couple of different options?
Well, actually, the majority of what I talk about with these subjects is that the majority of what I do is actually non-operative. I'd say with certain types of heel pain, when it's Achilles tendonitis and tendinosis, those actually get better about 80 to 85% of the time without a surgery. Okay. With plantar fasciitis, it's even better. It's about 95% of the time. And I can tell you, for plantar fasciitis, I might operate on 2 to 3 cases a year. So these are more things that I'm addressing because it's something that I think gets overlooked by primary care physicians or just kind of put on the back burner and say, your heel hurts and you'll live with it. And you don't have to. You can actually get better.
Right. It's no fun walking around with the pain in your foot, and then it starts affecting your daily life. We have very active Shell Point residents here, and we certainly want them out there enjoying everything.
Well, exactly. I mean, realistically, if you're altering the way you would normally do things, if you don't do the activities you love to do, then that's no way to live. So I really want to make sure that people know that you don't have to live that way.
Okay. All right. Well, if you have a pain in your foot, come see Dr. Jason Nimitz on Monday, April 8th at 2:15 in the Social Center. You can sign up for this program and any Health Connection program at either of the service desk. I'm Mary Franklin with Dr. Nimitz. Have a happy and healthy day.
The Shell Point Photo Show was a rousing success this year. Let's look at the award-winning photographs from this year's contest.
The photographs of the 2013 Shell Point Photo Show were classified in 12 different categories. Here are the ribbon winners in each of the 12 categories. In the category Shell Point Community, the third place photo was Millie Ford's photo, Street Vendor. Second place was Ted Boynton with Macoma Court Swimmers. And first place, Pam Blau with Concentration. In category 2, Scenery at Shell Point, the third place photo is Frank Moore with the photo called Senna. Second place, Judith Krug with A Good Time at Shell Point. And the first place photo for Scenery at Shell Point, Carl Bowser with Follow Your Star. In the category of People, your third place photo was by John Moore, and it was called Schoolgirls. Second place, John Ippenson. His photo was called Buddies. And first place was this photo by John Moore called Vendor at Delhi Mosque. Category 4, Fun and/or Festive Events. The third place photo was by Jane Hoden, and it was called The Pumpkin Patch. Second place is by Kirk Gullidge, called Watch That Turn. And the first place photo in this category is by Dee Whited, called Bringing Home the Bacon, Cuban Style. Now here's an interesting category, Still Life. The third place photo in still life was Gene Warden with Morning Shadows. Second place, Patty Waters had this photo called Home for Good. And first place in still life is by Dee Whited with the photo Cuban Still Life. The category Nature Elsewhere, that's nature anywhere other than Shell Point. The third place photo is by Gene Warden called Calm, Cool, and Serene. Second place photo by Fran Ippenson, and her photo is called Still Waters. And the first place photo in Nature Elsewhere, Mary Hirsch with her photo Dunn's River Falls, Jamaica. In the category of travel, we have several interesting photos. The third place was by Frank Moore, and he called it In Flight. Second place by David Marriott. He called it Frank's Office in Virginia City, Nevada. And the first place photo in the travel category is by Kirk Gullidge, and he called it The End of the Road. We have an abstract category now. The third place photo in the abstract category is by Pam Blau, and she called it Overview. Pam also won the second place in abstract, called Water Wonder. And the first place photo in the abstract category, Dee Whited again, with her photo Parabolic Reflections. Now we have a category about birds, and it could be birds anywhere. The third place bird photo is by Joan Betts, and she called it Lunch Has Arrived. Second place by Patty Waters, and her photo is called Gray and Gorgeous. And the first place bird photo by John Chamberlain, and it's called Look at Me. Category number 10 is Wildlife Anywhere. And the winners in Wildlife were Don Shore with Do You Have a Peanut? John Chamberlain had this photo called Let Me At Him. And Mary Hirsch with her photo Flight of the Bumblebee. We also had some pet photos. Jan Van Leer had this photo called Here's Looking at You, Kid. And Patty Waters had this photo called Marmalade. And in the category of all-time favorites, photos taken anywhere at any time, the third place photo, called Morning Cleanup, was by John Chamberlain. Second place, John Moore with Bandoneon Player. First place photo in all-time favorites is by David Marriott with Decaying Citroen Palace in Lima, Peru. Now, who won the Ted Boynton Best of Show Award? It was this photo. Dee Whited, with her photo Bringing Home the Bacon, Cuban Style, won the first ever Ted Boynton Best of Show Award. There were also several collections in the non-juried category that are well worth a visit. So, come to the Resident Activity Center before this Friday and peruse the Shell Point Photo Show.
The Shell Point Golf Club is undergoing a major reconstruction project this summer, rebuilding all 18 greens from scratch. Let's learn more about it.
There's going to be a golf course greens renovation this summer here at Shell Point. Generally speaking, greens have a shelf life of between 10 and 15 years. Like we said, our front 9 greens are 12 years old, so they're pretty much, they're old in terms of green life. The first thing they're going to do is they're going to core out the green as we know it. It's like I said, it's like gutting a pumpkin. So they're going to take a big scooper, the backhoe, and they're going to gut the green. They're going to take all that debris and they're going to move it off property because that's bad, wasted material. Then they're going to come in with a bulldozer and they're just going to level everything flat. Then they're going to come in with more dirt and more earth, and then they're going to shape the new golf hole. They're going to shape the green, they're going to shape the bunkers, they're going to shape the mounds, they're going to shape the swales, they're going to shape the whole process. Then they're going to come in and they're going to start building the green. They're going to start off with 4 inches of hard rock. Then they're going to put 12 inches of material on top of that hard rock. Then they're going to come in, they're going to fill the bunkers in with brand fresh new sand. Then they're going to come in and they're going to sod roll all the grass around the green. A farm up in Georgia literally raises grass called Paspalum. Paspalum Platinum is the new strand of Paspalum. It's the most newest strand out there. There's only one course in Naples, Old Collier, that has it. We're literally going to be the second golf course that's going to get Paspalum Platinum. It allows you to water with brackish water, which we have here. Being so close to the Gulf, we have high salt contents in our ponds, and that allows the brackish water to go on the grass, and the grass will respond to it. We go up, we pick our plots of grass where we want the grass to come from. They bring down the plugs, the little circle hole plugs. We drop them in on that fill on top of the greens, and then we watch the pods connect to each other, and the green forms into a green. Once the trucks leave and drive out of here on June the 10th, we need 20 to 24 weeks of growth. That allows the grass not only to grow up, but to connect to itself and kind of mesh together and fulfill the green. We don't want to open up the greens with 80% coverage or 70% coverage. We want a full 100% coverage, and the best way to do 100% coverage is to allow that full time. So we're going to start the process on April the 15th. We'll start by closing down the front 9 and doing the front 9 greens. April the 30th, we'll start on the back 9 greens. For about 3 weeks in there, between April 30th and May 19th, we'll be totally shut down. May 20th, we'll come online on the front 9 with temporary greens. June the 10th, we'll come online on the back 9 with temporary greens. The reason we're going to keep going with temporary greens is mainly for resident satisfaction. We're here as an amenity for the residents, and we want to make sure the residents have that amenity. They're able to get out of the house, come out, play golf. So we're going to provide them with a temporary surface. It's not ideal, it's not going to be well manicured, it's not going to be well groomed, but it does allow them to come out, strike the golf ball, play, enjoy the camaraderie with their friends, and have a good time in the interim of the new grass growing in. October the 1st is a proposed open date. We're looking for 100% coverage for the new grass, and we feel that by October 1st we can have 100% coverage. You can do a project cheaper, quicker, easier. However, the cheaper, quicker, easier way involves you doing it every 3 to 5 years. You're going to have to keep redoing the process. We're doing our process to what the USGA recommends. USGA recommends this is how you rebuild a green, how you redo the greens. This is going to get us maximum life out of them, probably somewhere in the 15 to 20 year range where we'll have out of these new greens. Every green is going to be resized back to its original 5,000 square feet. Greens are going to be resloped, recontoured. Bunkers are going to be reshaped, moved, improved, taken away when they're not needed. It's not just the green, it's the whole green complex. The collars, the fringes, the bunkers, the greens, I mean everything is going to be 100% redone. You're going to see a totally different green when you're done. This is an exciting thing for the golf course. The golf course is going to be remarkably better. It's going to be 10 times better next year at this time. Throughout the course of the summer, we're going to continue this process. We're going to show you the process of the growing. We're also going to try to conduct golf course tours to show you how the process evolved. It's an ever-evolving process. It's just not boom, it happens, we have new grass. You know, the process evolves, and it's a major undertaking. It's a major project for a golf course to redo their greens. Stop in the golf shop or call us at 239-433-9790. We'd be happy to help you out with it.
Renee Maxwell joined us to talk about the Employee Christmas Gift.
Well, folks, it's springtime, and that means it's time to start thinking about Christmas? Really? Why are we thinking about Christmas? Well, you might have seen this flyer in the elevator or possibly a letter in your mailbox. It's time to start thinking about the Employee Christmas Gift. And with me is the entire Christmas Gift Committee. We have Lynn Wheaton, Wally Yeager, Joan Morgan, and Renee Maxwell. And Renee is the chair. So Renee, why are we thinking about Christmas time in the spring?
Well, I think we're all starting to think about it right now because we all know that our employees' Christmas fund is beginning to start. And it's time for us to give back. You may also be thinking about arranging now for your donation to be applied to your monthly Shell Point billing statement. That's one of the first clues, and I think it's a very good one. So that's what we're hoping to begin to touch on right now.
You don't have to think about it the rest of the year. You sign up for it now, and it's just taken out of your monthly statement automatically. So when Christmas time comes, you're not stressed about it.
Right. It's already finished, and you feel like, oh, thank heavens, one less thing I have to do.
Now, Joan, kind of for new residents or residents who haven't heard, kind of tell us, what is the Employee Christmas Gift? Give us a general overview.
Well, the Employee Christmas Gift is an opportunity for all of these residents here at Shell Point to show appreciation in a special way for all the things that our employees do for us on a day-to-day basis. a lot of people we see every day, but a whole lot of people we don't see. I don't see the lady that bakes until I run through the kitchen for something. I also see the laundry people down in the alley, but I don't get a chance to talk to them because they're scooting, somewhere else. So this employee fund really shows all of those people that are behind the scenes as well as the ones that are active in our houses or in our building, that we really appreciate what they do every day, because they don't just work at Shell Point. They devote their time at Shell Point, and you can really tell it when you see them work.
You're not allowed to tip throughout the year. Residents cannot tip employees, so this is kind of the one chance a year that you have to tangibly show your appreciation to employees. Wally, could you tell me why this is important to you? Why are you a member of this committee?
Well, because as an employer for many years, why we wanted to take care of our employees, and usually in a tangible way that's done by giving money. And so here at Shell Point, like Joan was saying, there's a lot of the people we don't see, but yet they're working behind the scenes. People that we see maybe cleaning our rooms once a week or whatever, or in the dining room or whatever, but there's a lot of them that we never see, and so we really want to show our appreciation to them for that. And also we can do it in a rather painless way by having it taken out of in our monthly statement every month.
That's great. That's great. Now, Lynn, you've been involved in the actual distribution of the employee Christmas gift at Christmas time. Tell us what that experience is like. How did that stick in your mind?
Well, it's a great experience to see employees receive gift from the residents here at Shell Point. The contribution that people like that make to the well-being of the residents here at Shell Point.
And they have big smiles on their face.
Yes, they do. When they receive that check, it means a lot. Some of them who have relatives and friends in other countries send it to them so that they can experience a great Christmas blessing as well. So it's a real tangible way to give back to the employees, just a small part of what they do for us each and every day.
So, Renee, remind us once more how people can actually donate, even now in the springtime.
We have several choices. You'll be getting a letter in the mail that'll be coming to you from our committee explaining all of the different parts of our fund drive. And you'll be getting that monthly statement. If you decide to do that, you want to do it monthly, there'll be an envelope there and you can fill out what you want to have taken out of your monthly statement, and that will happen for you. And besides that, there's another choice. You can also choose to give a one-time gift or a gift, whatever you want, when you want to. And the main thing that I think we're all talking about also is we want 100% participation. Wouldn't that be wonderful?
It would be wonderful, even if it's a small amount.
It is. Whatever it is. Everybody gives at their own, whatever they feel they can do, however they feel. But to be able to get almost 100% participation, no matter what the increments might be, that would be a wonderful thing for us to accomplish, I think. And I'd love to do that this year.
Well, folks, you heard it here from the Employee Christmas Gift Committee. It's time to donate, whether it's springtime or Christmas time. Anytime's a good time to donate to help the 950 employees here at Shell Point. So if you have any questions, here's your committee. You can contact them anytime. This is Jared Pike for Shell Point TV.
Doug Heatherly is an astronomy buff, and he is going to be sharing some of his stargazing prowess at an event this Saturday night. Let's learn more.
Hi, I'm Suzanne Zavada, and I'm here with Doug Heatherly. Doug is the new activity leader of our astronomy group that we've just started up here at Shell Point. Now, Doug, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your interest in astronomy?
Yes, my interest started when I was in high school, many years ago. But I was a sophomore in high school. A friend had a small telescope. We looked through the telescope one night at planet Saturn, saw the rings of Saturn, and I was hooked. So it's been a hobby for many years now.
Well, Doug, if I were to look through the telescope right now, what might we see?
Well, we have it set up for the sun today. Mm-hmm. And one of the things I'd tell you first is don't ever look at the sun without proper eye protection. This telescope is set up especially to look at the sun. It's got special filters both at the front and at the back before the eyepiece. Mm-hmm. And it's perfectly safe to look through this one. But if you don't have the right setup, it can be very dangerous very quickly looking at the sun. So we're looking at the sun, and this particular telescope set up with this set of filters looks at prominences, which are flares coming off the edge of the sun. And you can see sunspots and solar flares and those kinds of activities around the edge of the sun, which are not normally visible in just white light. Okay. This is what they call a hydrogen alpha filter, which is a very special type narrowband filter for the sun. But it's primarily for nighttime observing, planet, moon, stars.
Now, actually, if you do like to stay up late and would like the opportunity to test out a telescope, we have an interesting program coming up, and it is
a star party.
Yes.
Star parties are great for being able to see different types of telescopes, as well as seeing objects in the sky, whether it's the moon or Jupiter or whatever. But if you're looking or interested in different types of telescopes, it's always a good opportunity to see a variety.
Is it better to be on the golf course because of lighting?
That's exactly the issue. Lighting is a major issue for any astronomer anywhere in this country in particular. So dark skies is something that we just don't have. And golf courses come probably as close to a dark sky in an urban area as we can find. It, of course, will be dark. And so we will have flashlights available and in the area, and there will be some lighting, but it will be a dark area. But we're actually going to use part of the parking lot. So we're going to try to avoid tripping areas and that kind of thing. We will have a restroom available and a clubhouse. It will be a dark area. We'll have some flashlights, but we try to protect our night vision. So people will have to adjust to a little bit of a dark area.
Now, is there anything special we can expect to see that evening?
The moon will be out, and the moon is always fascinating to look at through a telescope. You can see the mountains and the ridges and the valleys, and so it's fascinating to look at. It also, with the planet Jupiter, will be out. It's the largest planet. It's marvelous to look at through a telescope, and you'll be able to see several of the moons, at least 4. Perhaps through some of the larger telescopes, we'll see more moons of Jupiter.
What is it that is so appealing about astronomy, and why it's so interesting to you?
Looking through the telescope the first time and seeing something so magnificent as the planet Saturn, or looking at some of the nebula or some of the other galaxies and recognizing how great and how large and how magnificent the universe is, and that we're a part of it, and that we have the ability to look at it and to understand some of it. It's all rather humbling, and I think helps keep me balanced a little bit in perspective of where life.
Okay, so that you've heard at Shell Point, we have this program set up on April 6th. Sign up is required for it, and we'll have court pickups. They'll start at 7:10 on the island, 7:20 at the Woodlands, and 7:30 at Eagles Preserve. So if you'd like to participate in this event, feel free to call either service desk, and we hope to see you out there.
On this April Fool's Day, we showed you just what kind of fools work here at Shell Point TV in our blooper spectacular.
So there it is, a week-long.
Actually, let me start over again.
And that the special art exhibit.
Doing.
Well, there we go.
And now back to you, Jared.
Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Sorry. Get your Christmas list.
And you.
I'm so delighted to be with her. Let me do that again.
Hi.
Wait. Go home.
The men's match player. Oh my.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jared. I just bit my tongue.
Sorry. My voice cracked. Oh, God.
I just snorted.
For neuropathy. What?
Oh. Neuropathy.
Neuropathy. And that's how I say neuropathy.
Tuesday news update.
Well, shut.
Stretch. Stretches.
The lifelong All right. Whoop. Love, love, love. Love, 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 love.
Me, mama.
Any kind of a number. Nom, 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 nom. Yeah, I don't know where to end it there. Did I say that right? Mm-hmm. Awesome. Yes. Good thing I didn't finish my square dance routine.
If your feet don't actually move, it's not really dancing.
Oh, nice.
We kind of calm it down after all that dancing?
If everything goes flawlessly, we don't need them. We can do this all ourselves.
This is going to be humorous, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Oh, are we on?
Yes, we're probably on.
I'll tell you on the way back.
Hi, I'm Terry. Whoops.
Hi, I'm Herb Sklar.
Let me do this way.
We had an event at the Butterfly Garden. The Butterfly Garden.
Our next Fine and Performing Arts concert series. Oh, crap.
Sign up for this event. Starts November 1st.
At 9:15, organize files for evil. That's not good.
And I need another adjective. Did you have fun at the variety show last night?
I certainly did.
Well, it was.
I don't know. Did I have fun?
Crystal Room. Vespers.
Edison and Ford, Winter Estates in downtown Fort Myers.
The Great Decisions Group will be gathering. They'll talk about the Mexico manatee, I was going to say. The Mexican manatee, what? The arbor is great.
Do you get to take in some of your pants? Well, the seamstress will be here at 4. Do you get to take in some of your pants? I'm losing it.
Did I look confused when I said mustard sauce? Mustard sauce?
Mustard sauce?
Mustard sauce? What's that? It sounds yellow.
Just don't ask us anything we don't know.
Good afternoon.
Wait till I ask you something.
It's my turn. I am talking now.
Can I stop you right there? I'm sorry.
Creative ways to stop talking.
I have to talk and walk at the same time.
I know it. This is bothering me.
I feel small and insignificant and weak.
Well, hi there, and thanks for joining in with... golly, what am I doing here?
I'm going to start that over again. See, I'm a professional, and even I don't know what I'm doing.
What year is it?
Yeah.
It's January 11th.
Dang it. I meant 2012. Didn't I say 2012? For Monday, February 1st. 6th. Dang it. How are we on the 6th already?
And I've got my tickets for the 2002, 2013...
2012.
Oh, did I say? Thank you.
So don't forget to register for those new activities for the month of January. Yeah.
Have a great day. Make the most of it. Hit a buffet. Have some ice cream.
Mmm. I'm just going to eat cookies.
Thinking about meat. Bacon wrapped shrimp. Where is it? Bacon, 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 bacon.
Or it could be a turkey, and it is a turkey born in Turkey, so we're carving real turkey.
And you put that inside a taco and you wrap it in a pizza.
That makes me really hungry. That just doesn't even make sense.
Because I was just thinking, I really need to smile and pretend I'm enjoying this.
We're really excited to show you our new guest house.
Make us look good.
Okay, there you go.
That's a big job.
My clothes aren't fitting you well.
And I'm not going shopping.
Especially when you're in that makeup line or aisle of the oh, stupid.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jared Beautiful Pike. Thank you, Jessica.
You're welcome. You're so pretty.
They really don't care about how we look, I have to tell you.
Did you know the #1 heart, don't even.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jared Pike. This is Shell Point Today.
Sorry. Don't do anything spontaneous with me today.
Yeah, there we go.
No, don't put your arm around that.
No, don't. Get intimate here.
No. So make sure to make a date for the hometown celebration.
All right. I'm ready for the Shell Point Variety Show.
Hey, West is falling over. And we just finished the safety meeting.
No. Save Jessica.
That is hilarious. I could never be an actress. Yeah,
I could have been a geologist, easy.
She's like national headquarters of Fine Marking.
Hi, everybody. It's Jared Pike. And the phones are ringing. So we need your help to get us through this pledge drive. For $75, you can get a tote bag.
I'm David Howenstein, and I approve this message.
You're a scary guy. We hope you've enjoyed today's show.
We sure do.
Thank you, Dan. Thanks for putting up with that.
It's just nice when somebody else goofs up for a change.
I was really passionate about wishing people a great day on that one. I gave him the fist bump. How ridiculous is that?
Yeah, you did it.
We're glad you joined us for today's show. Tune in next week for more stories and news from around your community.
Until then, this is Shell Point Today for the weekend of April 5th, 6th, and 7th. I'm Rochelle Chernowski.
And I'm Jared Pike. And from all of us here at Shell Point TV, we hope you have a great weekend, and we'll see you again on Monday.